Worth what it is that you expect from the world in response to who you are. It's very different from value. Self-value means how you hold yourself within yourself and what you expect as a result. Now, in order to get to the worth, if you're not holding yourself within yourself as worthy, then what you expect from the world is surely gonna hurt you.
It's a matter of knowing your value. It's a matter of you saying, I don't have to be around these people in these type of environments and situations in order for me to finally see the value in myself. I love me independent of you loving me. I believe in me. I know my self-worth. I am here and I have a purpose. There is no value in having wisdom, knowledge, insight, spirituality, love. Every day I am a work in progress.
The biggest challenge is to know what's happening. This is a part of this thing we call life. This too shall pass. And maintaining perspective, putting it in perspective. But if you want to begin to move into your own personal greatness, if you want to begin to really enjoy a happy, successful, healthy life, you've got to be willing to go against the tide. You've got to be willing to harness your will. So as you're in the process of reinventing your life, write a description of the kind of person that you want to be. What are the things that you must overcome? What qualities about your personality you know that you're going to have to change because those particular characteristics are liabilities to you? What are your assets? What are your strong points? Look at and evaluating yourself to make that determination.
Stop scaring yourself. How often do you terrorize yourself with your own thoughts? You get into absolute terror, and it's only coming from your thoughts. Nobody out there is doing a thing. Thoughts are like drops of water. You drop a drop of water, and it doesn't mean much. But if you keep dropping and keep dropping, you get a puddle on the floor, and then you can get a little pond and a lake, and finally you can create an ocean. And with our own thoughts, we can drown in a sea of negativity, or we can float on the ocean of life. And it's up to us. The thoughts we think accumulate. And what sort of puddles are you standing in? Or are you up to here? Or are you up to here and trying to paddle? You know, what are you doing to yourself? When we're willing to change our thinking, we can change our experiences. And it doesn't matter if you've got a big puddle of negative thoughts. You know, you can move over here and create a puddle of mindfulness, positive thoughts. You can make changes, always. So you want to turn those fear thoughts into positive affirmations. Let them work for you.
The number one reason for prescribed medication in America is stress. We are not designed by God to live under stress and anxiety. We're designed by God to live in peace. So I lived under stress for years, but I live in peace. I've lived in peace for many years. It's a profoundly different thing.
So what is it for you? What robs you of peace? John 14:27 says, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." See, if your expectation is that we might have peace on earth, man, don't hold your breath. Because it's not going to come until the Prince of Peace himself returns and makes all things new. But if your expectation or desire is that you might experience peace on earth in the midst of trouble, that you would walk with it, live with it, that there would be a peace in your heart regardless of what's going on around you, that is very much a possibility, a gift that is available for you today.
What do you worry about? When your mind goes to that place, maybe at night, you're having a hard time sleeping, what do you worry about? Chances are it's not a bad thing. It may be our families, the well-being of our kids, how we're gonna get our bills paid in the future. It may be something going on at work. Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? In other words, can any one of you, by obsessing over what you have no control over, influence what you have no control over? No, you can't. That is a recipe for stress. When I try to take control of something that I don't actually have responsibility for, then that is a recipe for stress in our lives. He says, therefore, in light of all of that we've talked about, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. In other words, today needs my best. Today needs my focus. Today needs everything I've got. I need to be my best for today because tomorrow isn't even guaranteed and it's got plenty of troubles for there. So he's saying, don't let the worries of tomorrow rob you of the joy and the focus and the opportunity of today.
Anxiety does come with life, but it just doesn't have to run our lives.
All kinds of things can be going on around us, but if we stay in communication with God and we continue to lean on Him and rely on Him, we can still have His peace. That doesn't mean we have to love the circumstance. That doesn't even mean that it doesn't hurt. But it does mean that we can have this special kind of peace. The peace that the world offers is a peace that only works when circumstances suit us. But Jesus has given us something that's far superior to that. He's giving us a peace that really, the best way I know how to say it, is a peace that just doesn't make any sense. It's an unreasonable peace. But you honestly can have peace in the most difficult circumstance if you really have a depth of relationship with God.
God never promised that He would keep us from difficulties. He never said that we wouldn't have storms, but He did say He would give us peace in the midst of the storms. He calls it a peace that passes understanding. That means despite what's going on around you, you still have peace.
How do you know you've prayed enough? When you have peace. If you don't have peace, keep praying. And don't just be worried while you're praying. Trust God while you're praying.
To acknowledge that everything led you to this point now. Everything.